What's up, brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa, and that guy right there, back to 100% full health. 100%. What? What did you say about
98?
98.
Yeah.
Let's say about
I still got a little.
so like we'll say 95 HP.
Okay. Yeah.
He's still great.
Good
He's
enough.
still powerful. It's Adam Obesius, right?
What's up, brewskis?
Tonight's brew is an old classic that we brought down from ye old Redlight. It's their Schoko's Keller beer. This is an updated version of the one that we have reviewed before, so don't get on our case about it.
Second review.
We're bringing it back because it's been recanned, and Obi's going to have a little bit more about that after the break. What's on tap for tonight? What's on tap? What's on tap for tonight? The new norm. We just can't help ourselves.
New norm ain't the same as the old norm.
It's, falling in line with classics like Gutfeld.
Yeah.
It's
With
just
an exclamation mark.
It's those things that you just like to hate watch, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be my cheers.
Hate watch.
Is the hate watching things.
Yeah.
I do love a good hate watch. No, what's actually on tap for tonight? It's been a couple weeks since you guys have seen a new episode, so some things have happened in our personal lives. He was sick. I wasn't. I had a sick show, though.
He did.
Boy, back on
Probably
stage.
where I got my COVID.
Probably. Yeah. So I'll give you guys a little bit of details
It was
about
worth
that.
it.
What else do we got going?
We also have, let's see, what else are we going to talk about?
Doc.
Yeah.
Mr. Disrespect, I'd say he's probably losing his doctorate.
PhD. Since we have recorded last, there's been much ado about the artist formerly known as Dr. Disrespect. He got in some trouble again, and we found out why the prolific Twitch streamer was at one point banned from Twitch.
As did everyone else, and there was reactions.
Yeah. It hasn't gotten better.
No. And in lighter news, we're finally getting some details about James Gunn's Superman movie.
Yeah.
And we got some set photos. We got some stuff about the suit and all that jazz.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're just gonna nerd out on that. Try to end on a high note. Right?
Sure.
Because the Doc thing is going to get
gonna get dark.
It's going to get really dark. Yeah. So let's get rocking into it, right?
Okay.
This is episode 432 of the One Beer In podcast.
Lost to be found by someone to save you when you're down.
What?
Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out.
Actually, we're back right now.
Yeah.
Takes me to a place where I feel.
There's no escape from this podcast.
All right.
Look at that perfect level of head.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Look at that.
It's beautiful.
You got asthma?
Like that.
It's the perfect level of
Perfect
head.
level of head.
It's important. If you don't know, guys,
You need that head.
you need head.
You need
And
head.
most beer requires
No head.
good head.
Oh, that'd be a good audio to use when you're talking shit about somebody who poured something like shit. So no head. Oh man.
I think Andy said that last time I was at Redlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's freaking hilarious."
So no head.
So no head.
Oh man.
Yeah. If you get a bad pour beer,
Not like these.
not like these.
Not like these.
Not like this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, buddy. All right. This is the One Beer In podcast, a podcast where two brews crack open a brew and we see where that one brew takes us. My name is Marco. That's Adam.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's rock and roll. You got a little bit more about what we're drinking tonight, bro?
I sure do, and I want to say shout out to Redlight because we have cold read on the can.
Yeah.
Again, this is the Schoko's Keller from Redlight. It's a Franconian style Keller beer. Comes in at a 5.8% ABV, and the cold read goes as follows. We first brewed this beer in 2020 after a trip to Franconia. Its namesake manages an old Keller where he matures cask lagers The old way. Keller beer is a young, fresh lager, unfiltered and hoppy. They very much resemble British ESBs. This is our interpretation.
Right on. So, yeah, if you want to go back through the annals of time, we did review the Keller beer, actually probably around like 2021. And then we brought it back. And so here we are reviewing it again. Canned instead of
Bottled.
bottled.
Wasn't there another similar beer release that was in a blue bottle?
I don't know.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
But I remember there was a similar beer, similar style, but blue instead of red.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know
Forget
what
what that was,
Yeah.
but I remember both of those were hitters.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know if this has changed at all, like brewing wise, or is it just a fresh batch?
I believe it's just a fresh batch. I will say that. Now, don't quote me on any of this.
Okay.
Quote me though.
Okay.
I think that there might be some different malt used, some more efficient malt that probably wasn't used back in the day.
Sure.
Brent will tell me sometimes about like different malts that they use in the brewing process. That's like better stuff to use, more flavor, easier to procure, things like that. So, without being able to tell you the specific malt that's being used in each one, and obviously I couldn't tell you the OG recipe.
Sure.
But I believe that this was at least brewed with the same flavor notes in mind.
Yeah.
Using different malts.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Interesting. Okay.
I could be completely wrong about that. So who knows? That's what you come here for. An authoritative voice.
Guess.
On how this thing.
An authoritative
guess.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Let's get rocking, baby. Let's get rocking. I was talking off mic, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it on mic, because I know that I'm not the only person who feels this now. So I was at this thrift shop, The Lovely. I'm not really talking shit about The Lovely, so I can name drop them. I'm not being an asshole to The Lovely specifically. They're lovely people who work at The Lovely.
It's true.
I do like the place.
It is a nice shop.
But they have like a men's section that is just dedicated to shit like this. If you're not watching, I got a vintage Daytona Bike Week biker hat, 1995. Yeah, so
Prime.
in very good condition.
It looks brand new.
I mean, I'm really surprised at how well this hat was kept.
Yep. It's even got the little rope on it.
The shittiest eagle you'll ever find. Just But it's an awesome hat.
It is.
And I go in there from time to time to look for, just random assortment of stuff. And they have changed out the vendor. I guess they have a specific vendor who uses their space to sell their vintage wares.
And it really is only like a corner of the shop.
It's I mean, it's a blink and you'll miss it spot.
Which I feel like
is
relatively true across most thrift shops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or vintage shops.
I would say, places that curate a look definitely have a corner dedicated to men and masculine clothes.
Sure.
And then it's mostly
dresses,
clothing.
Yeah. Vests,
Yeah.
And then housewares.
Yeah.
There's lots of housewares too.
So I go in there and they've switched out vendors. I don't remember the first guy. I don't remember what his name, what his company's name was, but he's out, and some guy's in there now. These hats, I'll give them this. The hats were, they had a good price to them.
Okay.
Like $20, nothing
not
crazy,
bad, yep.
especially for a hat that's in this kind of condition.
Sure.
Bro. And I think the reason he's able to charge the price that he's charging for those hats is because of what he's charging for the T-shirts. So we're now in this era of, tiny shorts. And believe me, I got short shorts on. I'm with the trends, okay? I want these thighs out.
You gotta in this weather, am I right?
Short shorts, big-ass vintage T-shirts. That's a look that's going
I thought
on.
you were just going to say short shorts, big ass.
Big ass.
That's a look
short
that's
shorts,
going on.
BBLs. BBL. And this guy, he curates these vintage T-shirts, which, all right, cool, man. I like the look, you know, the Dale Earnhardt shit.
Of course.
I got a Dale Earnhardt T-shirt. You know, different musicians that had like tour T-shirts and things like that. Bro, the average price for these T-shirts was like $130 for a T-shirt. Some of them in not very good condition.
Ooh.
And I just would like to say that the trend and I guess the idea of vintage clothing and secondhand clothing has gone the way of like everything else that gets popular in American culture, and it's been commodified, and capitalism has sunk its teeth into it. It's just like, it sucks, man. And it just,
Yesterday's price
it's not
today's price.
Everything in this fucking country seems to run the course of, oh, look at this cool new thing. That's great. Everyone should have this. Oh, now that everyone is into it, the corporations come in. I'm sorry, that's skipping a step. First, it's people capitalizing on it and saying like, oh,
You want this?
how about you pay double for it? Then
You know
the
why?
corporations
Because
jump
I
in.
have it and you don't.
And it's a seller's market.
And
for
I
things
bought it
like
for
this.
$15 in 1995.
Right. So I'll give you the credit where it's due. If you're somebody who's been you've been in the game for a while and you go around to all these places and you find, I'll give you the fact that you should be paid for your work, which is that you spent your day going from place to place, you know, garage sales,
Sure, yeah.
estate sales, things like that. And you bought all this stuff and you found these things, you cleaned them up for the most part. Sometimes they don't.
Sure.
But
smell like mothballs.
yeah, I'll give you that credit. But there is at a certain point you just have to be like, what is the price point? What is the worth of these things? It drives me insane, especially being 33 years old and being alive when some of this stuff was like pennies on the dollar.
You're vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're old enough to have seen it the first time, and that jades you from ever wanting to spend $100 on a T-shirt.
Well, exactly. It stops me from ever in my life giving someone that kind of money for a thing that I know cost a fraction of that when it actually came out.
Sure.
And you know, it's certain things like I get playing cards and trading cards of all kinds.
Jerseys.
Shoes. You've kept those kinds of things in mint condition and you're selling them 20, 30 years after the fact. I mean, that kind of stuff, I get it to a certain extent. But again, there has to be some kind of cap on this idea that like some of the stuff is just it's and the other thing is it's when it's being reproduced by places like Target and Walmart.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, it may not be a vintage shirt, but to the untrained eye, I'm still with it. You know what I mean? Like I'm still in the, like you could go to Walmart, right? I got like vintage looking stuff from Walmart.
Yeah, of course.
It just, I don't know, man. It's one of my biggest pet peeves is seeing stuff like that. You go to like one of these like swap meets or like these like vintage meetups and stuff, and you're like, oh, this is sick. And then you look at they've and the thing is, they also know what's like in style too. So when you're like you're fingering through the T-shirts and stuff, and it's like,
oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
How much is it?
Yeah.
Oh, 5 times everything else.
Right. Sick.
That I don't want.
This shirt is like, oh, that's a cool shirt.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever. And then you see like, I don't know, like a vintage wrestling T-shirt.
Sure.
And it's like, yeah, all right, fine. It's the only time that I feel kind of gatekeepy is when somebody's walking around with like vintage, and not just wrestling, but like stuff that I don't care about band tees, but I do care about things that like you're only wearing that because it's in vogue right now. And I don't know, the old man comes out where you're like, you didn't
Name 5 songs.
I don't want to do that to people, but you know, there is a certain, like I was watching this guy on TikTok talk about how he had to tell this kid, he came into a store and he was wearing like a neo-Nazi band's tee. And he just thought it was sick. And the
Like
design,
the design,
yeah. And unfortunately, some of their designs are fucking killer, and you have to.
Metal designs across the board are pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful, especially when you can't read the name of the band.
Right. So he had to pull this kid aside, and he was like, "Do you know what that band is?" And he was like, "Nah, I just thought it was cool." And he was like, "Hey, man, I'm not stepping on any toes, and I'm not like gatekeeping this kind of stuff. You don't have to name 5 songs, but I just want you to know that that's a Nazi band." And the kid was like horrified. And he actually,
I paid $150 for this shirt.
Exactly. And the dude was cool enough to like give him a shirt from his store and like, "Hey man, just wear this out if you don't want to wear that anymore." But it's shit like that. Like at the very least, it would be like somebody wearing a vintage wrestling T-shirt but walking around with like a Chris Benoit shirt on or something.
Yeah,
You know, it's like you gotta at least take a second,
do your research.
do the research. If you don't know who Nirvana is, that's fine. You can still wear that, that smiley face T-shirt.
Sure.
But at least when somebody says, "Do you know who that is?" You're like, "Yeah, it's Nirvana. I don't really listen to them. I like the design. Get the fuck off my back." But if you don't know anything, it's like, just do the minimum amount so that you don't look like an asshole.
Well, and I mean, to Uno reverse card that, really the only people that ask that question are generally assholes.
Oh, yeah. I had a guy get on my case about my Dale Earnhardt shirt. He was like, DJ. He didn't say it. What's funny is like this is a very interesting like gender studies kind of conversation, because I know if like I was a woman and I was wearing the shirt, he probably would have been like, "You don't know shit about NASCAR. Why are you wearing that shirt?" But since I was a dude, he was like, "Did you actually watch Dale?" Or like he kind of softly.
Yeah.
And I was like, I straight up was like, "What are we doing here, man? What are we doing? You know I don't watch NASCAR. Look at me. I'm not watching NASCAR. I just thought it was a cool shirt." And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I get it. And I was like, "Well then, what are we doing?"
Yeah.
Like,
what are you
and I
trying to do?
said it in a joking way. I was like, I was laughing, and I was like, "What are we doing? Like, why? What are you trying to accomplish here?"
You're testing my NASCAR creds.
Right. And I was like, I don't give a fuck, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just
You don't
one
like
of
the
those things.
Intimidator?
You just watch trends happen, and you just have to sit back and be like, "God damn it."
Yeah, especially when it's a trend that you like.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you just have to
Or
accept it.
you hold on to your kid clothes.
Well, and you know what? I'm fine. Again, I'm fine with it. I'm fine. I just want to reiterate, or I guess iterate.
Oh yeah, you're fine. Clearly.
No, I am fine with it as long as I don't have to spend $150 on the shirt. If everybody could just get this vintage clothing for like a decent, I would even spend more than what it's worth.
Well,
if a shirt is like $25 retail, I'll spend like $50 on it.
Yeah. There's another vintage shop in town that does I think a good job of kind of doing something that I'd like to see other vintage shops do, which is they have the entire store, basically the middle of the store is like everything is reasonably priced. Mm-hmm. You can find shirts for $10, $15, $20. I think up to like maybe 40 or something.
Yeah.
But then on the wall, there's one row of like upscale, higher priced items.
Yeah.
So we're talking jerseys.
Yeah.
We're talking like rare stuff, rare hats, rare T-shirts. And those are the higher priced items.
Yeah.
But if you're going in there just to peruse, you can walk out with something nice.
Yeah.
Or you can find something on the wall that you really love and go, "You know what? I'm going to invest in this.
Yeah.
I like this enough."
Yeah.
But it doesn't sort of gatekeep in that way where you got to walk into a place expecting to pay premium prices for vintage clothing.
Yeah.
Because the entire idea behind vintage is like it's supposed to look old and worn and not expensive. The entire idea behind it is like, I'm not wearing a fresh, clean tee.
Right.
This is something that has history
Right.
and wear to
It's
it.
secondhand clothing. I'm wearing someone else's clothes.
Right.
Why would I spend quadruple what they spent on it just because you held on to it?
Because you want to show that you're living the dream of being able to go into like an actual secondhand store and looking through their bargain bin of like $5 T-shirts and finding something gold.
Right.
You know.
Right.
You want to
can't-
look like that.
Right. And you can't do that no more because there's people who spend their entire lives doing that and then charging you the premium.
And I've had that experience because I don't really go to historically haven't gone to secondhand stores to look for clothes that much, except for hats. I'll look at it, all their hats. But it's happened for vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you look in the vinyl section, it's all stripped.
Yeah.
Because people know now
Yeah.
that, like, you can make double the money,
Yeah.
triple the money on some records. Whether they know about music or vinyl collecting or the specific albums at all, if it looks like it's in good shape, they'll buy it.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Well, and that's exactly, that was the point that I was making before about the Dale shirts and stuff like that, is that people who do that, who have commodified it to the point that, it's just a business for them, they know what people are looking for. And all of those trends kind of like, they're like a self-fulfilling prophecy. People are looking for Dale Earnhardt shirts. They're looking for vintage NBA teams like Charlotte, like the Hornets and the Bulls and stuff like that, and the Seattle Supersonics and stuff. They're looking for specific. Utah Jazz is a good one. The Vancouver Grizzlies instead of the Memphis Grizzlies. That's always a good one. So they're looking for specific things, and same thing with music. There's certain bands and albums that people are looking for specifically, and it's part of this aesthetic. It's not about enjoying these things, and I guess that's where people get weirdly gatekeepy about stuff. Is like, oh, I've spent my whole life listening to this band, and you're just wearing the
you
t-shirt.
don't appreciate it,
and that's I get that to a certain extent. I do, I get it because nerds are like that.
Sure,
they have their thing. And they get upset when it becomes popular, like the whole anime thing. Like now, everybody watches anime and
comics. Marvel,
Marvel is a big one. People used, you used to hear not so much anymore because Marvel has become like
the MCU.
Yeah, and it's a conglomerate now.
Yeah, it's Disney.
Yeah, so but back in the day when the MCU first started popping off, you had a lot of people going like,
did you even know Iron Man before the movie?
Yeah, you can't say that now because like everyone knows.
It's ubiquitous.
Yeah. But back when that movie first came out, you had a lot of that gatekeepy stuff.
Sure.
And I get to a certain extent. I mean, I want people to enjoy things, and it's fun when you can enjoy things with other people and not have to, do this whole song and dance. But I do get it when. Like I'm not gonna expound on it too much, but I went to Epcot, and then we went to Hollywood Studios, and I went over to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And you're in Star Wars, and you're like, there is a moment where you're like, this is amazing that they did this. This is like you feel like you're in Jedi Fallen Order, like you feel like you're playing it in real life, like it's VR or something.
I mean, especially for our generation that grew up like right at the cusp of the return of Star Wars. Because, I mean, I remember as a kid, like, Star Wars was only the 3 movies.
Yeah.
And then we got the re-releases. And then we got the prequels.
Yeah.
And then once the prequels were out, it was like, okay, Star Wars is back. It's now a thing again.
Yeah.
But there was an entire time after Jedi that there was nothing but novels, some video games eventually, but beyond that, it's like, no, you just go back and watch the old movies.
Yeah.
and that's all it was, and that kind of made it special in a way because it's like, this is all we have right now.
Yeah.
Now it's, like I said, ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's everything.
Well, it's 9 movies. It's TV shows. It's comics, right. It's cartoons.
It's been expanded and expounded upon infinitum.
Yeah.
But seeing it now from our generation, it does kind of feel like magic sometimes.
Yeah.
when it's not the kind of cash in TV shows or like the things that kind of dilute the property, when it's actually something special like an experience.
Yeah.
Like you can now go to a place that is, I mean, Star Wars cosplay 24 hours a day,
So when you go to a place like that and you're like, they actually put the work in and made this a thing, and you look around and you're like, I wonder if they understand. Do they get it?
Do you get that reference?
These people here because they like it, or are they here because somebody told them to come to Galaxy's Edge? Do they get it?
Do you know what credits are?
So nerds especially, I get it. It's hard to not want to, hold on to the thing tightly and say like, this is my thing, and you guys don't get it. But you have to
let it go.
You
Gotta let it go. It's part of growing up, brother.
Because the more you let go of things like that, the more it becomes something for everybody. And then once it's for everybody, then it kind of returns back to the pool. And then the people who really dig it will continue to dig it.
Yeah.
I think the more people try to make these things special and like, don't touch it, it's mine, that only makes people want it more.
Yeah.
That only makes businesses want it more. That only makes people who are into rare things want it more.
Sure. Yeah.
If you just like let people enjoy things, then you'll weed out the people who are like, oh, now that like everybody's into it, I'm not into it. That's another attitude I hate. They're like, oh, now that everyone's enjoying it, I don't like it. It's like, did you really like it then?
It shouldn't affect your enjoyment of the thing if other people are into it too.
Yeah. I don't know.
I hate to
play
say
premium on.
I hate to say it too, but I think it also boils down to what we talked about a couple weeks ago, which is the economy sucks.
Yeah.
And everything costs more.
Yeah.
So premium items, I mean, let alone regular items, everyday items that you buy, eggs and bread and such, are more expensive.
Yeah.
Premium items are at a premium price hike.
Yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right, and that just sucks even more. It's like, God damn, dude, how can you even? People can't even enjoy things in their free time, because even then you're reminded of how horrible everything's going.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to confront that.
Yeah. Well, what we should talk about is Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, let's talk about how horrible his life is, and not our lives, right?
His life's great. He's on vacation right now with his family.
I mean, is he though? Is he though? Can you imagine? Like, can you imagine being his wife right
Vacation,
now?
aka divorce court.
She has to now deal with the fact that like he cheated on her, not publicly, more.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Right. And then on top of that, we should back up. We should explain who Dr. Disrespect is, because I feel like this is kind of an insular topic.
Sure.
That has only become more public with this news.
Yeah. Do you want me to, or you?
Please,
Okay.
you're more of the streamer guy. I'm not much of a streamer guy.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So this is more your playing field.
Dr. Disrespect, aka Guy Beam, is a mega famous. I mean, there's probably, I mean, as far as like personalities are concerned, there's XQC, Nick Merckx, Ninja.
He's the guy with the blue hair.
Man. He actually doesn't have blue hair right now. Yeah. He's just a guy. Just a
Wow.
guy that plays Fortnite now. Yeah. It's funny that they all kind of just go back to, they experiment with shit, but then they all kind of just fall back to the thing that makes them the money.
Yeah.
They're all just so pathetic. These streamers. I don't watch streamers anymore. I did used to. I did used to like going on Twitch and like fumbling through and watching these guys, because it was entertaining. Streamers who understand that you're watching someone play a game, but you're also Twitch streaming or video game streaming in general, and Let's Plays gives you that feeling of like sitting in the living room with your homeboy who's playing the game, and you're watching them play. And I think that's the beauty of these games when they're done really well, or not these games, but these streams, when they're done really well by somebody who has a good personality, but somebody who's engaging with the audience and stuff. The whole idea is like, this person's fun, and they're funny, and they're fun to be around. So you want to sit in with them as they go about this.
I mean, you stick around for the personality.
Yeah.
I mean, the majority of it is people just kind of talking to cam.
Yeah.
And talking to chat.
Yeah. I mean, some of these guys, I mean, there's some guys like, shit, I'm spacing on their names. I'm not gonna try.
I mean,
to
you could
remember.
say it, and I guarantee, like,
It wouldn't even matter.
no one would know.
Okay, so there are certain guys, I can't remember their names, but they're like, the reason that they're famous is because they are so good at said game.
Sure.
Most of these guys are decent to good, but they're famous because people like hanging out with them.
They're funny. They have an opinion.
Yeah. They
got a shtick.
And
Speaking of shticks.
no one had a shtick that worked better than Dr. Disrespect.
Sure.
He fully understood what made him great.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, the thing that will be missed the most in this is that this was a guy who like really understood. I guess he needed to be a shitty person for this character to work.
Okay.
Not to say that you have to be shitty to make a.
I don't think he had to be shitty in the way he was shitty.
No, I guess what I'm trying to say is like maybe a person wouldn't be able to understand a villain on a visceral level without actually being a villain.
Dipping a toe into that villainy.
In some kind of villainy.
Yeah.
So Dr. Disrespect, his character was that of like a highly competitive, disrespectful, hence the name, gamer who was like this championship gamer back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then he turned that whole thing into like, he'd wear the visor, the wraparound sunglasses, the fake mustache. He always had a headset on, even when he was making public appearances.
And a mullet.
The mullet, it was a very 80s to 90s kind of throwback thing. If you go on any of his streams, it would be like this like 80s like cyberpunk goth punk thing that was the whole aesthetic around it.
Yeah.
And it was just like this cool like kind of sci-fi thing, retro tech, future tech kind of deal. And he'd play all the popular games and he'd go in there and he'd just talk a bunch of shit to people. He was really funny, he was really witty, he was fast with his jokes. It was just an entertaining stream.
Yeah.
So that's why he was able to outlast a lot of people. That's why he was able to become mega famous. I mean, if we're talking about famous streamers, I mean, there's a handful of guys that, people know Ninja.
Yeah.
People probably know Nick Merckx and Tim the Tap Man. People know Dr. Disrespect. If you're talking about streamers. And now, obviously, like, there's Kai Cenat, I Show Speed.
Sure.
There's people like that. There's young guys who are, like, turning the space into something completely different.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to see. Like Kai, I don't watch streamers anymore, like I said, but the young guys who are doing like interesting shit and fun stuff, it's like, it's cool to see like how they're changing the space and doing interesting stuff with it. But anyway, Dr. Disrespect, years and years ago, was caught cheating on his wife.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the details, so I will not bore you guys with trying to figure that out. But he cheated on his wife.
He was at a con, I think it was, and after that, he he broke kayfabe on a stream.
Yeah.
And people were immediately like, what is happening here?
Yeah. Then he was crying.
He was crying. He said, I've been unfaithful to my wife. I need to take a little time off.
Yeah.
I messed up. And, basically, I hope you guys forgive me. I'm going to try to repair things with my family. See you later.
And to his credit, it appeared that he had done that.
Right.
He gets back on stream, and for like a year or two, he had to withstand trolls jumping into his comments,
Sure,
and talking about how he cheated on his wife and stuff. But he outlasted, and I think that's a testament to the strength of his character and the way that he goes about his business.
Right.
That he was able to outlast that and get back to the status that he was able to do.
Yeah.
And then again, this guy he's a habitual line stepper. Just couldn't help himself. In like 2019, I believe, or 2020, right before the pandemic, or like a little during. No, it was before, because it was at a con again. He gets banned from Twitch permanently.
No explanation.
No explanation. No follow up. Nothing. He's just off, and this is unprecedented because Twitch usually doesn't permaban streamers, especially someone in the position that Dr. Disrespect was, being somebody who brought in millions of eyes to the platform
and dollars.
To permanently ban him was an insane thing.
Yeah. And one of the other controversies that happened in this time was he was live streaming from the con and went into the bathroom.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
And that became a big controversy.
Yeah. And people thought that it had something to do with that, too. For a really long time, they thought that Twitch had just kind of come around to
terms of service,
punishing for that. Yeah. But that turned out to not be the case. We found out a couple weeks ago that the reason that he was permanently banned, now again, no explanation, no regard, no nothing as to why he was permanently banned until some random former Twitch employee was like, time to spill the beans.
Yeah. Got nothing left to lose.
Jumped on Twitter, and the rumor again. There's no. Now again, take a lot of this, other than the factual statements, with a grain of salt, because a lot of this is conjecture and speculation. But the rumor is that there was a lot of NDAs signed.
Yeah.
When they permanently banned him, and a lot of hush hush. Let's just let it go. You go your way, we'll go our way. We'll call it a day. This employee of Twitch finally was like, okay, my NDA is up. Yeah. I can talk about this without legal repercussions.
Right.
And he says that the reason that Dr. Disrespect was banned from Twitch is because that he was using the Twitch platform to sexually explicitly message a minor.
Yeah.
You didn't know this?
Yeah. Which he knew.
I wish that there was a live studio audience to gasp like that when I drop news. Because I definitely say them in a way that, like, I hope someone's listening and they have that reaction.
Pause for reaction. Okay, you guys are done gasping. I know, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And apparently, what's been added to the news, this story in the past week, is that he apparently, according to somebody that a journalist has been able to verify, knew that this person was a minor. Was told
at
the time.
And
he continued to message them and said there was nothing wrong with what he was saying.
Yeah.
And
so at first, when this news comes out, before the clarification, there was a lot of people who were like, this is insane. I can't believe this, yada, yada, yada. And Doc himself was like, his first statement was basically that of, everything legally has been taken care of. I forget the way that he worded it.
He said there's no criminal. There has never been a criminal accusation.
Yeah.
And there never will be, essentially. And these people are trying to label me as something that I'm not.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada.
And people are like, "Hey, man,
come out, blah blah blah."
That's a weird way to say I didn't do it.
Right.
So then, more and more information starts coming to light, and then I guess he finally feels like he needs to respond, and his response was, "Hey, gang, just want to let you know, I did do it." No, more specifically, in his he posted something on Twitter, which was basically like, "I want to shoot straight with you guys. You know I'm a straight shooter." Yada yada.
Says man who has been in habitual kayfabe.
Yeah.
The entirety of his career.
He says that, yes, I was inappropriately messaging a minor. He's specifically, the messages leaned into the area of inappropriate. That's how he phrased it.
Right.
And then said that there was no intent to ever do anything about it. We were never going to meet up or anything like that. It was just messages sent back and forth. So that was his way of. And apparently in his mind,
that was good.
That was the way to explain this.
Wait. The best part, he went and edited that message, that tweet.
Yeah. Huh?
And then it seems like realized that people could see that he edited it. To edit out the word minor.
Yeah.
And then eventually reverted it.
They had
back.
to put it back in because people could see the edited tweet. What a fucking! It reminds me of the
so embarrassing
Chris D'Elia episode where he was on The Fighter and the Kid.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the Snapchat messages.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, apparently they took a screenshot of the messages.
You
and
can
he
do
was
that?
like, wait.
Wait, you can do that?
And then you just see the wheels turning.
Exactly.
It really was like, in real time, you're watching Doc realize that they can see the edited message.
Oopsie daisy.
It's like, hey, man, editing is for typos,
right,
not for completely removing context.
Yeah, yeah. And it should be said, when he was doing these messages, he was 38, I think.
Yeah.
He's currently 42.
And she was 17.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's any big
There's
confirmation.
no verified age, but people are assuming, I guess, that she was 17 at the time.
Also, if you want to laugh, you can find clips online of him finding out that the shit is hitting the fan.
Yeah.
As he is streaming.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty wonderful to watch.
Yeah.
Because when all of these accusations started coming out, his studio, so he created a studio called Midnight Society, where he was working on
A game studio.
Yeah. I guess it should be, to give him the credit that he deserves. It should be mentioned that he was a game developer. He used to write for like Call of Duty.
Yeah, he worked for Call of Duty.
He's a prominent voice in that space, and he was working on a game called Dead Drop. And the studio that he created, Midnight Society, they dropped him when these accusations started coming to light. And I think that was a huge thing where at first people are like, this can't be true. There's no way he would do this.
Yeah.
Not my Dr. Disrespect.
His writers came out, yeah.
So when Midnight Society dropped him, in their statement they were like, we heard the accusations, we did an investigation, we talked to all the parties involved, and given everything that we have discovered, we are gonna sever ties with Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah.
And I think that was the moment that people were going, this is for real. This isn't just like random disgruntled employee.
Sure.
This is
or
for
just
real.
rumor mill stuff.
Yeah.
And then he immediately tried to spin that as like, we agreed mutually that I would leave the studio.
It's time for me to step down.
And then one of the heads of the studio came back and was like, the truth is, we looked into it and can't abide by, we gave him the benefit of the doubt. And after seeing what he actually did, untenable for anyone to be involved with this studio that has done the things he's done.
Yeah.
And it's very clear that it wasn't a mutual severing of ties.
Yeah, they fired his ass.
Fired
him. They dropped him.
Yeah. So the lies continue.
Yeah. He tried to spin it and make himself look as good as he could, but after a while it's just like there's no way to spin this.
No.
It just is what it is. And, it's just there's all of these, where do you even start with the fallout? You got some of the biggest streamers in the world or in the country who came to his defense in the beginning.
Sure.
And they were like, we should wait for all the facts to come out before we say anything. Doc is, he's our friend, blah, blah, blah. Then all the information comes out and they're like, fuck Doc.
Whoops.
It's like, oh, man.
Oopsie-daisy.
Interesting perspective to take on that. And also his ride or die fans, of which there are many, apparently. I had no idea that Doc had shooters like this.
He does.
You go on
first-person shooters.
Doc's got the first-person shooters, bro. You go on any thread on Twitter talking about Dr. Disrespect, and you will find people who are coming to his defense saying, like, it's a conspiracy, there's this going on, there's that going on, this person said this person said that, and you just have to have people all you have to do really is just repost his own tweet.
Yeah.
It's like, he admitted to this, bro.
Right.
That's it. The conversation is over. Now we're just talking about the repercussions.
He admitted himself it was inappropriate.
Yeah, he admitted to what he did, and he admitted that they were inappropriate, sexually explicit messages.
It's over. Like,
now,
what else can you say to that?
The extent of how explicit these messages are is something that only weirdos would quibble over.
But you see
they are.
You see the weirdos going, what's the age of consent where he was doing these messages? Like,
and
shut
no one
up.
said, again, that's the other thing, is part of this conversation is like, bro, no one said he did anything
illegal.
He did something weird, fucked up, and inappropriate. Morally, you have to take a stand somewhere. The idea that like he didn't break the law, and that's the thing that a lot of people are getting hung up on.
And that's your barometer of ethics.
Yeah, is that as long as these man-made laws by
God,
it's actually sickening to watch, but it's not surprising.
No, it's
I am
not.
surprised at how many people I've seen come out the woodwork to defend him. I'm not surprised that people are defending him because people are fucking weird.
Sure.
I just didn't know that he had the passionate fan base that he had.
I mean, it shows how popular he was. You
Yeah.
know, like how influential he was in this space. And you know, he clearly intends to come back.
Oh, that ain't happening.
That's what his intention is. And like sort of the last sign off he had ended with him saying like, I'm going on vacation, I'm leaving for a while, and I'll be back, baby.
Yeah, he ain't coming back.
So
There's just no
we'll
way
see.
he can come back and be... Well, because here's the thing. YouTube has demonetized him.
Yeah.
There's obviously no way he's returning to Twitch. The only platform that would take him is Kick.
Yeah.
And Kick is already mired in controversy.
What's another
not
another controversial figure?
Again, yeah, not to say that like he couldn't go on Kick. They would accept him for sure.
He'd be welcomed with open arms.
But the thing is, you have to now contend with the fact that you are amongst the Andrew Tates and the what's that fucking guy who smelled Andrew Tate's chair?
Yes, that's exactly
You know
who
what
I
I'm
was
talking
thinking about. Yeah.
That fucking guy.
Yes. Yes.
I forgot his name. That's how pathetic he is. I can't even like recall his name.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. But you have to resign yourself to being peers with those people now. And so if Dr. Disrespect can sully himself and be so low as to do the things that he's done, I mean, I'm sure that it wouldn't Aiden Ross. I'm sure he wouldn't put it past himself to align himself.
Bless you.
Jesus Christ. I'm allergic to bullshit. He wouldn't put it past himself to be shoulder to shoulder with people like Aiden Ross.
Yeah.
But he'll never ever achieve the level of fame that he was achieving as Dr. Disrespect on YouTube and Twitch.
He's out in the mainstream.
Yeah.
I'll say that much.
He had a partnership with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
Like, imagine being as big as he was for just putting on a costume and playing video games. And might I add, not that well.
Yeah.
He was not that good
Sure.
at a lot of these games.
I mean, he's ancient for competitive gamers.
Yeah. I mean, he was just like the rest of us who were like, oh, these fucking sweats, they're sliding all over the place.
Yeah.
And that was part of the charm, though, was because if you're a guy who is a casual gamer or even like slightly competitive, you got a guy like Doc who's playing these games and he's saying the shit that you're complaining about. What is this matchmaking? You know, what are these guys doing? These fucking kids are sweating all over the blah, 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 blah. The same shit that you and your homeboys would be complaining about, he would be saying.
Yeah. And he can be that voice because his entire character is to be the angry competitive gamer.
Right. So people like myself who in real life were angry competitive gamers,
Yeah.
he could play that as a character and get people to go like, that. See, this fucking guy, he gets it. And then he had to ruin it. He had to ruin it by being a fucking sicko. And it's just whenever, I mean, people like that, I'm not even going to give him the credit of saying like he has some kind of like mental illness or something like that. Like he just has a problem. He's a problematic person.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah.
And to me, though, just from a pragmatic standpoint, it's just so fascinating to watch someone reach the heights that he's reached and still can't even put a clamp on his perversions enough to just not message children.
to not take advantage of his fame and wealth.
Yeah. To just be a normal dude.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a wife and kids.
Be a family man.
You're making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You're partnering with your favorite NFL team.
Do you know how many people would kill for that opportunity?
Kill for it.
That aren't sickos, that
Yeah.
aren't going to take advantage of teens?
Well, maybe he's a sicko because he's been famous for so long.
I guess.
Maybe the fame just rots your brain.
Maybe.
You know? I mean, they're all fucking weird.
Sure,
You know?
sure.
Like, they all seem to get to a point where it's like, I would never think a normal person would do this, and then...
You're not a normal human being anymore. You've changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know... I guess the only thing to say is, like... I hope that the victim gets everything that they need out of this, justice or
They won't. Too many NDAs were signed. There were deals, and nothing's going to come out of this. Their name probably won't ever be released. And
well, that's good though. Actually.
Yeah, for sure.
I think.
But I just
because you got too many fucking shooters who are gonna be out there and be like, try to find it.
She's a liar.
They might find her.
They might
find
her. They
her,
might.
And
I hope not, but they might. And like dox her.
Yeah.
But hopefully not. And I mean, I hope he doesn't come back, but I have the feeling he will.
Well, like I said, it's only going to be on a platform like Kick. It's like saying, oh no, this person's returned on the Daily Wire.
Somehow Emperor Palpatine has returned.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like being interviewed on Gutfeld.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, I mean, sure, they're back.
Yeah.
But are they really back?
But he's a panelist on Gutfeld.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, Tucker Carlson interviewed them.
Right.
I mean, I guess he's back.
Okay.
I guess he's back in the public eye. Sure.
For some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. I don't know if we've covered all the bases that we can cover with this Dr. Disrespect thing. But this is about, I think, all the information that's come to light so far.
There's not much else to say other than ew. and how dare you,
That's it.
I think we've covered it.
What's to say except for
Yuck.
ew. Brother, ugh. Ugh.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think that sums it up.
Brother.
I think that sums it up.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty
good.
Pretty good. Okay. Like I said, I wanted to end on a more positive, high note.
Please.
So let's do some nerd speculation.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that always
all right.
fun?
All right.
Yeah. So probably, at the time of this recording, it'd be a couple weeks ago, but we still wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
There's set photos that have come out for the new Superman movie. What?
Superb Man.
Superb Man. Superb. What's it called? Superman A Day in the Life? No. Superman Right Back at You?
Black Superman.
Black Superman back in action?
Yeah.
What was your joke? Superman colon that hoe.
Woof, am I right, Celine?
Even she's yawning.
She's
like,
yawning.
yeah.
She yawned at your
Sick.
joke.
Oh, brother.
This guy stinks. It is Superman.
Don't worry, I got it. I thought that this was your job, but apparently it's my job.
Legacy. No. That was the Brandon Routh film.
Superman. No, that was Superman Returns.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I guess it doesn't have a tagline yet.
Really? I thought they had one. I thought it was like Superman. Never mind. I don't know.
According to Wikipedia,
The trusted source.
it's just called Superman right now. It's just a reboot of the series. I thought that there was some kind of tagline.
There was too.
I think it was Superman Legacy, but I don't know if that's the official title now. It appears.
Okay.
It appears to be that they have removed the Legacy tagline.
So it's just Superman.
And it's just called Superman. There are some articles.
Drop the Legacy. It's cleaner.
It's cleaner. Yeah, so it looks like there's some articles from like a little while ago that called it Superman Legacy.
Maybe that was just like the script title.
Yeah.
And they just decided to cut it and just start fresh.
But yeah, it appears that it's just going to be called Superman.
I'm not mad at that.
I think it should just be called Superman.
Yeah.
Why does it need, unless there's going to be, so you call it Superman Legacy, implying that there's going to be some kind of like plot point about the legacy of Superman, right? So we're going to introduce different Supermans. It's going to be like a multi-dimensional kind of thing. I don't want any of that. Yeah, I just want.
I'm sick of the multiverse personally.
Yeah, man. This like the Deadpool Wolverine movie that's about to come out is probably, to me, gonna be the last bit of multi-dimensional shit that I can
Yeah.
bear.
The only one other than because I agree with you. The only one other than that, though, for me is the finale of Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Definitely, but that's yeah. We need the
Conclusion.
Yeah, but otherwise, we don't need any more.
No, simplify.
Yeah, it's just
tighten it
let's
up.
just stop.
Let's get back to core storytelling.
And I think that's part of the reason why some of this stuff is getting old for people. Is like it's not just that people have superhero fatigue; it's that we're telling the same kind of story over and over and over again.
Sure.
Like, I think the pandemic fucked up the scheduling of a lot of these movies.
It certainly did, yeah.
It hurt these movies because they had a plan. And the multiverse stuff that they were doing, specifically with the MCU, Kevin Feige had an idea of like, this is how this is going to go. I mean, he's done it so well for so many years.
Chadwick passing too.
That that obviously did not help. That left a huge void in these movies. But they have not been able to pivot that well, and also taking so long to pivot.
Sure.
And do something else with these movies has
and the show's kind of floundering over time.
Shows didn't help.
Them not doing much with the shows that were successful, or interesting.
There's
all hurts.
And so at this point, I think the formula is to kind of take a step back and say, what do people even like about this shit? Why are we doing this?
Sure.
How do we get people? How do we get asses in seats? What is the point? And a new Superman movie where they just go, "This is our new Superman," and we're gonna explore this Superman shit, man.
Yeah.
Instead of going like, how can we introduce Batman and Wonder Woman, and how can we, tell the story of the Justice League, and how can we make little Easter eggs to this, that, and it's
which will clearly, according to what has been talked about, the plan so far will be part of the overall idea, but it seems like at least with Superman, and I assume what will come afterwards, we're going to have a lot of establishing movies that don't have a lot of connective tissue to the greater DC universe. Yeah. Which is the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. So, all that in mind, we got some clever eyes, or some not clever eyes, but sorry, we've had a lot of beers, not just these, but I'm losing the words that make more
Tighten
sense.
up, brother.
Shrewd eyes.
Shrewd.
That have got these set photos from
these shrewd eyes.
These shrewd eyes.
Shrewd eyes.
That have got some set photos of the of Superman in action,
right.
And
not to mention the official released first photo of Superman in costume.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Of him putting his cute little boots on.
The little boots.
Cute little boots. And here's Superman ready to fly.
Superman.
So I don't know. I mean, you're looking at it, and I think if I remember, I'll superimpose it right here.
Okay.
So that people can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
Well, could you give me the fella's name? I forget his name. The actor.
Something cornhole.
Cornhole?
Corner sweat. Corner wet. Superman. David Cornersweat. I actually...
Wow, not bad.
fucking nailed that. David Cornersweat Cornsweat.
Yeah.
And he's
David
American.
Cornsweat. I didn't realize, but this is the fella from Pearl who runs the theater.
No way.
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I had no idea either.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great... Oh, my God.
Right?
That's fantastic. How were people even a little upset? He was perfect.
It's perfect.
I mean,
perfect. Yeah.
That's great.
I think he's a great fit.
I had no idea.
Yep.
Oh, this is gonna be big for him. Man.
Even better, he's in Twisters. Can't wait. But yeah,
he's fantastic.
He looks like Superman.
He looks great. How do you feel about the suit?
The suit, I will say, seeing more of the onset stuff made me feel a little bit better because the initial official released first photo of Superman had me a little iffy, and it has everything to do with fit.
Yeah.
Because this suit looks a little big on
Looks
the man.
like a little baggy.
A little
on him.
baggy.
Yeah.
Like it's not quite the like rubber latex look that we're used to in our modern superhero movies.
Which is funny too, because like there's photos of him in the gym and he's like shreds.
He's
it.
yoked, yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's a thing where he will fill out the suit eventually. Like maybe this is like an early Superman story where he will kind of grow into the look, or if it's just been kind of what they're going for now, which is clearly hearkening back to the older style of Superman, the golden era.
Yeah.
Where he's wearing a fabric suit. Like
Yeah,
there's no
he's
getting away
wearing
from
a
it.
costume.
He's wearing a suit. Yeah, it's fine. But you know, like the wrinkles and the kind of, you know, like the little like bulges in the suit kind of throw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
It looks cheap. It looks like cosplay.
Well,
to me.
it kind of bulges.
Oh, did you laugh at bulges in
Yeah,
the
she
suit,
did.
in the
She's
costume?
She's a child, actually.
His bulge looks fine. Okay.
I mean, yeah, I you know, I feel what you're saying, because like it does kind of make you think that he's not as big as he's supposed to be, which is really kind of fucked up and ironic because, again, you look at photos of him.
Yeah, he looks yoked.
He's huge. So to wear a suit that's like a little too baggy kind of makes it seem like he's not as massive as he
Yeah.
actually is. And I bet he put in a lot of work and probably took a lot of steroids to do this.
I mean, if you got to be Superman,
You got to
be juiced to the gills. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, by the way, I just want people to realize like these dudes are juicing. Okay?
Of course.
They're all juicing. So
yeah,
just,
they're not eating the chicken and brown rice diet.
yeah,
Okay,
just get it out of your mind that these guys aren't juicing. If you need to play a superhero or if you need to play an archaeologist,
in Jurassic Park.
gotta get yoked.
Hey, paleontologist. Okay.
Sorry, thank you. Paleontologist.
Put some respect on it.
You gotta get yoked.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only way to play these characters
Yeah,
now.
clearly.
So
It's what the people want. They yearn for yoked
they
dudes.
yearn for the yoked dudes.
And honestly, I think once you accept that, it's still impressive.
I never cared in the first place, but you're
doesn't-
right. Yeah, it is impressive. You can't.
They still put in the
steroids-
work.
Yeah, they're not a miracle drug.
If you don't work out and you take steroids, you just get fat.
yeah,
You gotta work out.
you have to. Yeah, you got to put the work in. Like
Diet,
people
exercise.
who are always like trying to, you know, take anything away from The Rock because he takes steroids. He's always said that he's natty. He's clean,
Right.
which is impossible. There's no way that he's natty. He's like in his 50s and he's bigger than he's ever been. He used
yeah.
to be a professional wrestler. I don't know if you guys remember that. Mm-hmm. He wrestled day in and day out, like 190 days a year.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
And he's bigger than he ever was. So he's 1,000%. I would testify in a court of law under the threat of perjury
Hey, allegedly.
that he's allegedly taking steroids.
You have
But
no
again,
evidence.
you have to put that work in still. I mean,
Of course.
So, I mean, you know,
It's their bodies. I mean, what do I care?
yeah.
They make the choice.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure it's worth it.
Yeah.
If somebody told you can make millions of dollars and have an action figure,
Put that needle in my butt
Right.
right now.
What are we talking
right
about?
now?
yeah.
Yeah, it's not even
Give me a
question.
personal trainer, someone who's going to make me 3 meals a day.
Yeah, dude, at this point. But the thing is, I would be honest about it.
Yeah.
I know myself, and I know if somebody asked me in an interview,
Well,
like, did you
I
take
guarantee-
steroids? Like, absolutely, I did.
I guarantee.
Look at me.
What do you think?
This isn't real. I couldn't do this on my own.
Have you seen me before?
I hate brown rice. I'm not eating it. I'm not doing it.
I think you still have to eat the brown rice.
I hate brown rice,
I know,
man.
me too. Have you tried the brown jasmine rice?
No, I haven't.
The brown jasmine rice is a game changer. It's much better.
Guys,
It's much better.
unless we get cast in the Superman movie, I'm not eating brown rice. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
All right.
It always tasted like oatmeal to me. You know, like it has this oaty
Yeah. Odie.
flavor, and
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Because
But
it's bad.
brown jasmine, I mess with.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what I was saying was,
What were you saying?
I don't know. I forgot. But yeah, I just think that.
They're juiced.
Well,
These guys are
no.
juiced,
What I
and
was
that's
saying,
fine.
what I was saying was, they don't let these actors be honest, because they don't want the stink of, oh, you're doing something illegal to put this
Well,
physique
steroids
on.
aren't illegal.
I mean, you're not getting it prescribed.
Well, I don't think anabolic steroids are against the law unless it's a competitive thing, I believe.
I don't think that's
Am I wrong
true.
about that?
I think they're
Well,
illegal.
I mean, they're pretty ubiquitous if they're...
Because nobody cares. But I'm pretty sure you're not technically
Well,
allowed.
then where are they getting them?
Mexico. I mean, if you're in LA, they're probably like...
Just Google, are anabolic steroids illegal? Yeah.
Yes. Because, I mean, I just don't think people care unless you are in a competitive sport.
It's illegal to use without a valid prescription.
There you go.
What do you need a valid prescription for steroids for?
Usually, if you're recovering from something,
Yeah.
because that's what they're actually used for, is to help with recovery. That's why they're so good when you're working out. But it reduces swelling. So in times where I've had like really bad back pain, I've gotten a steroid injection.
Right,
So
okay.
it brings down all that
Yeah,
swelling.
I've gotten steroid.
Oh, like testosterone. Like if you need more testosterone.
It's a testosterone like replacement.
Yeah, like maybe.
Well, and there's like HGH too.
Yeah. There's
And,
there's tea you can just get.
Yeah.
Especially when you're older.
Yeah. So I'm sure they have a cocktail of all that stuff
Yeah.
that they give these guys in their like mid 20s and just get them yoked out of their minds.
I'm gonna play Superman.
I'm Superman now.
Superman. I'm playing Superman.
Where did my balls go?
Oh no, bro. I'm playing Superman.
You sound like an astronaut.
Anyway, I think the suit looks cool as shit.
Okay, you like the suit. You like the suit.
I do like the suit. I
I
think
do.
It's a
I will
crazy...
say one thing that I enjoy about it, because I've only said negative so far.
Yeah.
I like the red trunks. I like that they're back.
Yeah.
It's a
I
classic
think
look.
It's a classic suit.
Yeah.
The red trunks, the yellow belt,
Yeah.
blue suit,
Mm-hmm.
yellow Superman emblem on the back. I think it looks classic.
Yeah.
I think James Gunn does a really good job of doing comic book stuff that works on screen.
Not MCUing every suit
Yeah.
that everyone wears.
Right. So he's done a really good job at that, and I think that the Snyder guys are just gonna have to accept the fact that like James Gunn is gonna do this better.
Hey, I mean, I think they will be converted if the movie's good. If the movie's okay, they're not gonna be swayed.
I disagree. I think that Snyder fans are Snyder fans. They're not Superman fans. They're not DC fans. I think they came to the DCEU as Snyder fans and were happy with the direction that he went in.
Yeah.
And they were only emboldened by the fact that the rest of us were like, these movies kind of suck. And whenever you like something and somebody tells you that it sucks, it only makes
Yeah.
you like it more. You have
Sure.
to defend it more. And I think that they came into it as Snyder fans, happy that he got the helm, and they have to fight tooth and nail. And I think that as much as Zack Snyder tries to pretend like they're just random people on the internet, he emboldens them too.
Sure.
And when they feel like they're being heard by the guy, imagine talking to God and he listens and responds.
Right.
Can you imagine praying and hearing a voice saying, I heard and I agree?
I hear you. I have a director's cut of The World coming out soon. Don't worry. It's going to
So,
be better, I promise.
When they feel like their voice is being heard by the man himself,
Yeah.
that only makes them more emboldened.
Yeah.
And
They're zealots.
And, yeah.
They have no reasoning.
Right. So I don't believe that even if this Superman movie is incredible, I just don't see them given James Gunn.
I hear you.
I mean, they already go back, and you can see them sometimes like pull up his old tweets and like talk shit about his old movies and stuff. And it's like, bro, there's not one DC movie that's better than Guardians 1.
Oh yeah,
there's just not.
It's true.
They're not even
It's true.
close.
It's true.
So like, unless I don't think. I'm really thinking about this before I say it.
Okay.
I don't think Zack Snyder's...
That's a change.
That's good.
This is what growth looks like.
I don't think Zack Snyder's made a better movie than even the first Guardians movie. I enjoy Guardians more than even Zack Snyder's best movies, and I'll even count Dawn of the Dead in that.
Yeah. That's hard to say, but I gotta agree.
I just don't think that I like. I mean, 300 Watchmen.
Is so
300.
good, though.
Yeah, okay, all right. Maybe I'll amend it with 300.
Yeah.
300 is the only thing that Zack Snyder has done.
If there is one that competes with the first Guardians, it's 300.
The rest of his filmography, I will go. I'll fight tooth and nail. There's really nothing that he's done that's even on par with the first Guardians movie.
We are the Owls.
Maybe the Legends of the Owls.
Yeah.
That's a
Gahul.
big maybe.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. Zach is preoccupied with making like worse versions of his movies on Netflix, and so he doesn't have to worry. You know, just let him ride off into the sunset with his stuff. I'm excited to see what James is doing because it looks like he is taking a very traditional approach to these characters and kind of like hitting the reset button on some of this stuff and like not trying to do an updated version of some of these characters, but just come at it from a very traditional point of view with the movie. So
everything that he's said so far that has inspired this script has me hopeful. And it seems like he really gets the idea that Superman is supposed to be this like altruistic beacon of what it means to be the American dream, you know? And that was missing with the Snyder stuff. It was so dark. It was, you know, very tortured. And the shift, I think, is going to be jarring for some people, especially the Snyder heads out there. But I, for one, can't wait to see a hopeful Superman story.
Yeah. I mean, now considering the fact that it's the guy that we know on screen, I mean, even just his turn in Pearl was so charismatic and so inviting and lovely. It was such a, I mean, he's so good in that movie, even just the short amount of time he's on screen. I'm trying to imagine that guy being Superman, and I'm trying to imagine what Zach allowed Henry Cavill to do, because again, we've talked about it on this show, but we go to bat for Henry Cavill as a guy who was never allowed to be as funny, as charming, and as charismatic as he actually is in those Superman movies. And so it hampered those movies. It stopped him from just being his best.
Thank God he got Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Without that, it's like,
just let him free. It just freed him, man.
Let him work.
Yeah, let the man cook. You know,
Yeah.
let him cook. Yeah. So it's gonna be fun, hopefully, because I mean, we at this point, I think we all know James Gunn's sense of humor in these movies. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he handles like a stoic yet charismatic character like Superman.
Yeah. Well, I hope that it's a retro approach. I hope that we don't have any hints of like a wink at the camera, you know?
Yeah.
I want this to be more of harkening back to the Reeves Superman.
Yeah.
You know?
Just a more earnest movie. We don't
heartfelt, make it real, you know, like actually say things earnestly.
Yeah.
Please.
Can we stop with the cynicism and like the wink at the camera?
That's the last thing that Superman should be, is cynical.
Yeah.
The last thing. He is the opposite of cynical.
Yeah.
Who is cynical? Batman.
Batman's
a cynical character. He's supposed to be the yin to the yang, you know?
Yeah. I love that in Zack Snyder's vision of Superman, his idea of hope is like, hey, sometimes you got to kill people. When a brother is yelling too much, you got to kill him.
Some people deserve to die.
Some people, and that's hope, baby. And that's on hope. Some people gotta die.
Yeah.
He did everything that he could, and then he realized he had to kill him.
You gotta go.
And that's hope.
You gotta go.
That's what what the symbol on his chest is.
That random family that was trapped there, about to get lasered.
Yeah.
Gotta crack his neck.
The only thing he could do is kill him.
Yeah.
That's on hope.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to be interesting to see what comes next with that. If the schedule stays true, it'll be like 2025 when that movie comes out.
I think so, yeah.
You know, just a nice, cute little round of speculation.
I'm looking forward to it.
And we'll come back when we can.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You know what we got to do next, kids. And it's a good old Cheers of the Week.
Yeah.
So, Obi, I'll let you start the kids off. Tell them what your cheers in this week.
My Cheers of the Week goes to Sherry. She took care of me in my time of need, in my the throes of COVID-19, and
COVID 2024.
COVID 2024, yeah, whatever it is now. And I, it's it's kind of overstated that men don't take illness well, but I become baby when I'm sick. So Sherry took very good care of me, and I really appreciate it. And it's a shout out to not only Sherry, but also anyone who's a caregiver and, takes care of people when they're ill or not good. And also, as a bonus, just the appreciation that you have after a bad illness, where it's like feeling normal is such a blessing. Not having a headache for 24 hours a day just feels so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Not like being able to breathe out of your nose just feels so good.
Yeah.
You take it for granted. But
completely understated for
when
sure.
it's taken away from you, it's when you really appreciate what you have.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's mine.
That's wonderful.
And I do it again.
So I hope
How
you don't have
much
to.
did you pay him to do this?
I slipped him $200.
200.
Yeah.
200.
I wish.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen. My cheers is also going to Sherry. $200.
Like $200.
No, mine's gonna sound silly in comparison, but
That's fine. That's how we do it.
It's going to Rise of the Ronin, which I finally have got my hands on.
Okay.
Yeah. This game is awesome.
Yeah.
Now, it definitely harkens back to Ghost of Tsushima. There are moments in the game while you're playing it that you're like, I don't know, I kind of want to just play Ghost of Tsushima right now. Mm-hmm. But it does different things. It does more interesting things. Its gameplay style is different. So I get on the head the comparisons to another samurai game that's come out.
Sure.
And there are certain similarities. But right now, I mean, I've only gotten a couple hours into it, and I have a buddy who has been telling me about it, and he's like, listen, man, you haven't even scratched the surface of this game. It gets larger, it gets more interesting, you get more fight styles, you get all kinds of, like, the game really opens up halfway through.
So you have a paraglider at some point.
You get the paraglider actually pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised because that was actually pretty fun. I didn't realize, like, I just found the paraglider. So I don't know how the game is supposed to work. I don't know if someone's going to give it to you at some point.
You may have gotten it early.
I think so, because I just got it. And I was like, it was weird to just have, like, stumbled upon it.
Discovered it, yeah.
So far so good. I haven't played a lot of new-ish games in a while. And so it just feels real nice to, like, sit down with a good game. I don't game like I used to, and I miss it, man. I miss it so much. I just don't have a lot of time to sit with games because even in my free time, I'm like, I want to do, I have so many things that, we're trying to do. We've got the pod and music and just all this stuff that we want to do. And then sometimes you want to just sit around and watch The Sopranos. It's like there's not enough time in the day.
There really isn't. There really isn't.
I have little moments in time to kind of like explore this stuff, and
it's funny you're doing that while you haven't beaten Cyberpunk yet,
dude. Don't even. There's so many games.
Or Final Fantasy 16.
You have like I owe you 3 games right now to beat and give back to you. So yeah,
I'm gonna need 16 back when I finish 7 Rebirth because there's DLC.
well let me know and I'll give that back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. But anyway, Rise of the Ronin's awesome.
Okay, cool.
So far,
Good.
so
Nice.
all right. You want to review these brewskis?
Let's do it.
Well, this is the Schoko's Keller beer from Redlight, a Fraconian-style Keller beer, in which we have reviewed before, but this is a new, updated version of said beer. And so, Obi, what'd you think of the brewski?
I really like it. It's a pretty good mix of malty, but also there's a little kick of hoppiness in there.
Yeah.
I have to give it another.
There's a bitterness.
There's a bitterness to it. I think you tamper down that bitterness just a hair, and you got a 6 out of 6.
Ooh, okay.
But I'm gonna give it a 5 as it stands. I think it's a great choice. I think it's light enough to enjoy multiple. Obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
not quite like a beer crusher.
No.
Little fuller.
Little thicker than that.
Yeah, got
for sure.
a little more body. But I really enjoyed it. I would and will definitely
I enjoyed it and will enjoy it.
definitely order this again. So yeah, recommend it. 5 out of 6 bottle caps for me.
5 out of 6. Oh, excuse me. I think I'm going to give this
Oh, wow.
a 5.5 out of 6.
Ooh, okay.
I think, I don't know, not to be too familiar with the Keller beer style. Keller beer is a young, fresh lager, unfiltered and hoppy. They very much resemble British ESBs.
Yeah.
All that in mind, I feel like they pretty much nailed that.
They did, for sure. Yeah.
And so if that's what we're going for, I think that was, I think we did.
It's a big factor, going like delivering what they say they're going to deliver.
Yeah.
Which is what they do with this. Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a 5.5.
You know what? I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to bring it up to 5.5 as well.
5.5.
Now that you mention it, it's been a while since we
been a
went
while.
through
It's been a while since we had
the read through.
a moment like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
With that context, it's a 5.5 for me too, because you're right. It does deliver everything it says.
Yeah.
I think just dialing the knob back by a 0.5 on the hoppiness.
Yeah.
You got an all-time classic right here.
All right. Well, it is a unanimous 5.5 for the Schoko's Keller beer.
Mm-hmm.
Think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, if Adam says we got it, then this episode is over. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
New norm ain't the same as the old norm.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful evening.
We love you.